Hello, and welcome to another episode of Nat Drinks and Talks About Stuff. Hi everybody, how we doing tonight? Before we get into tonight's topic, I just wanted to get on film, even though this is obviously a digital thing. I would like to do my bit of Christopher Walken, who I'm wearing on my shirt right now. This is Christopher Walken as GPS. And it's a very short character because all I have is for what happens when you do not follow the GPS. And it's Christopher Walken as GPS, and you've taken a wrong turn. He goes, you're driving, and he goes, and you missed the turn that you're supposed to take, and he goes, you fucked up. You gotta turn around. That is my 5-second impression. Tonight's episode is about anxiety and fears. And I'm sure a lot of you are already, it doesn't make you anxious in your heart that I said that that's what we're talking about tonight? Probably not. I don't even want to say that I suffer from anxiety, because while I have anxiety about things, I like to think that I try my best to have a sense of humor about the things that make me anxious as best as I can. Now, I saw Chris Hardwick tonight, and I saw Chris Hardwick last year, back in May, when he was on his Fun Comfortable tour, and he talked about his anxiety. And I was with my friend Kim and my best friend Joel. And when we left the show, Joel said that the stuff about anxiety just didn't work for him because he doesn't have anxiety. Which is a crazy thing to say. So then Kim and I, who are very much on the other side of that, are asking him, we're coming up with different scenarios of like, well, what about this? Is it giving you anxiety? And he goes, no, I feel nothing. When anything like that would happen, I keep doing this and my face is the same. So let me try it once, where my face changes. Ready? All right, that went horrible. So Joel says that he doesn't experience anxiety the way that Kim and I might experience anxiety, which led to just a very fascinating conversation because you don't often meet someone who feels that way. And we're gonna, before we get into my anxiety, let's talk for a second about that. Joel is my best friend. Joel and I met when we were 1. I don't remember too much about the initial meeting. But Joel and I met 30 years ago. Just try to wrap your head around 30 years ago. Some of you watching are not 30 years old yet. So that amount of time is literally unfathomable to you because you haven't experienced that in any form, let alone having a friend that you've known for that long. Joel and I have been friends for as long as I can remember, but at the same time, there are things about us that are so different. You watch enough comic book movies, and any sort of movie in general, where two characters meet at a young age. I've seen enough of this stuff that there's always the thing in the back of my mind that's like, Joel and I, at some point in our lives, one of us may have to kill the other one. You know, it's not anything I'm thinking about right now, but I've seen enough movies where that's the origin story. It's like, look at these two young boys playing together. Little do they know that at some point in their lives, their destinies are not two trains on parallel tracks going down the road, but are in fact trains, heading towards each other on one track. So I know in the back of my mind that there is a possibility that I may, at some point in my life, have to murder Joel. Or he may have to murder me. I don't know. One of us, like, we could end, we end up as enemies at some point, but I don't know which one of us is the good guy and which one of us is the bad guy. I know that he's a banker, so he's the obvious choice as the villain. So as the twist, it could be that he is the good guy. He's the banker that's the good guy and has to kill, the server at TJ Fridays. What? So tonight, or we're just going to talk about. I say that some of it is what I would say gives me anxiety, and some of it is irrational fears. And I feel like there's a difference between the two, because irrational fear is something that there's no way it's going to happen. There's no reason for you to even have the thought enter your brain. And then anxiety, I do believe that the things that I have anxiety about are legitimate things that could at some point happen. So over here on screen number 2 is things that could give me anxiety. We're going to say some are anxiety, some are fear. Number 1, every time I am standing at my sink washing dishes, there is a window in front of me with a view to the outside world of Clifton Park. And every time I'm washing my dishes, every single time, I think about the possibility of a sniper shooting me through the window, which is fucking crazy. This is not anxiety. This is an irrational fear. My irrational fear is that someone is needing to. I realize I am not in any way a threat to anyone. No one is spending money to take a hit out on me. That would be ridiculous. But my irrational fear is that someone needs to practice sniping people. Someone in Clifton Park, and they're just, I don't know, out in their yard or on the roof of their house in Clifton Park, and they're just, this is how you hold a gun, if I'm not mistaken. They're just like, oh man, I wish I had a fucking target for my sniper practice. And then, lo and behold, they see me just washing dishes, standing still enough, and they're like, oh my God, what a great opportunity. God surely shines upon me today. And then they shoot me through the window, and I'm dead. I'm dead in my kitchen, and everyone, the body is found, and the police show up, and everyone is like, what the fuck happened? Like, did he have, so now they're interviewing my friends, like, did he have enemies? Did he do anything that would lead to him being murdered? And everyone's like, I mean, he, was like a dick sometimes in an attempt to be funny, and he was the only one to laugh at his own jokes, but I'm not sure that that's enough to, like, someone decide to, like, assassinate him. So the investigation would be a dead end, and as it should be, because it was just a simple matter of someone needed sniper practice and assassinated me merely for practice. So this is something I think about every single time I am washing dishes. Another thing I think about every time I'm coming home from the gym, and I am just in a miserable mood when I leave the gym. I hate my entire time there. It is awful, but I am told by my doctor that it's necessary. And just preview of an upcoming episode, we're going to talk about my doctor and this whole gym thing, and I feel a classic coming on with all that. But every time I'm driving home from the gym, I think about how awful it would be to get into a car accident and die on the way home from the gym. This is not driving to the gym and getting into a car accident before I have to do it. This is the last real experience that I have before I die, is being at the gym, hating it, being all sweaty, driving home, being hit and killed on the way home from the gym. And the paramedics show up, and they're just like, ugh, like this dead body is all sweaty and disgusting. Like, why does he smell so bad? And it's like, well, because the last thing I did on this earth was try to better myself, only to be killed on the way home. Okay, so those are irrational fears that are, I mean, most likely never going to happen. So anxiety, like what gives me anxiety? Every time I go to the movies, this happens every, it's ridiculous because it happens every single time. I'm in line to buy a ticket, and there is douchebag teenagers in front of me. Wow. There's douchebag teenagers in front of me. And the last time I went to the movies, they were punching each other in line. Like, I can't, like, the caricatures that I make of them don't even compare to the actual douchebag teenagers that are, bro, I can't wait to see this movie, bro. We're gonna fucking, oh man, I can't wait to, this movie's going, fucking bro. That's what's happening in line in front of me, and I'm just like, I'm too old, and they were never my people when I was young, and they're not my people now, and I hate them. So they buy tickets, I buy my ticket, I walk in, they are buying snacks at the concession stand, so I walk into the theater. So anxiety number one walking into a theater is that you walk down the aisle and you make the corner, and then there's all the seats. And every single time I'm walking, you can't see the seats yet, I worry, no matter what time of day it is, how long the movie's been out, or whatever, I worry that I'm going to make the turn and there's going to be like no good seats available, and I'll have to sit like in the very front row, and I am about to have an awful movie theater going experience. So that's anxiety number one. The other anxiety is once I get to my seat, which is typically in a good spot because I'm being anxious about nothing, my anxiety is that now the fucking douchebags that were in front of me in line walk into the theater, and I'm worried that they're going to be like, bro, good seats right here next to this fucking nerd guy. Hey, fucking nerd guy, we're going to sit right next to you in the movie, and we're going to talk the entire time and potentially just punch each other because we can't communicate our feelings. Another thing that I'm not quite sure to put this under irrational fear or legitimate anxiety. I oftentimes when I'm driving, and we're back to me being behind the wheel of a car, I worry about there's something happening in my brain and I forget driving. I forget like which pedal is which, or forgetting like what signs mean, that I'll either like blow through a stop sign or the light will be red and I'm just like, I don't know what that means anymore, and I'll just go and I'll get hit in an intersection. But I have this irrational fear because all it takes is a second when you're driving. I fear that for 1 second I will forget how to drive, and I will just drive into an intersection, and it's just immediate. It's immediate death because there is always in my mind, anytime I drive through an intersection, there is an 18-wheeler coming from the other direction, and if I make a mistake, the 18-wheeler is without a doubt going to kill me. I think that I have my anxiety and my fears, and you're partially waiting for something to happen that justifies everything that you feel. But then you also have people, the Joels of the world are just like, shit, like, yeah, like people die and mistakes happen, all this stuff, but, for you to just be constantly in fear of that makes you a weak person. That's Joel. Joel lets me know constantly how I'm a weak person. And then I'm there to let Joel know that he's a robot who was clearly built to be my best friend, but that doesn't stop me from having to, kill him at some point as you would any sentient robot being. Here's the point that I want to make with these videos, and it's not I go to the great comedian John Mulaney, who once said, like, let's just admit that our demons are the most interesting things about ourselves. I heard him say that on a podcast, and I went, yes, yes. Let's stop hiding our anxiety. Let's stop hiding our fears, because at the end of the day, no one can say, like, no one's going to be like, I'm not going to be friends with that person because they worry about snipers when they're washing their dishes. You know, no one's going to have that be a deal breaker for them. Let's just say that these things that are in our heads are the things that make us interesting. So these are my fears, these are my anxieties, and like whatever. Like I don't care if people know about them, and I hope that it allows other people to be open about what scares them. So yeah, I guess I guess that's it for maybe not the funniest one I've ever done, but I'm also I don't have anxiety about whether or not this is the funniest one that I've ever done. I just want this to be an episode that people go, like I'm glad that he talked about that. So, having said that, this has been another episode of Ned Drinks and Talks About Stuff. Thank you if you made it to the end. Thank you very much, and just have a good life. Yeah, that's it. Bye.